I feel that there's more interesting things that you can do in costume than just conventions. I feel that a lot of folks just don't enjoy it. They take it way too serious and don't have the fun with it they should. So, I mean, yeah, you'll look around and maybe some of the costumes aren't quite as good as others.
Cyclist incoming!
So, you know, help them out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So,
a couple of popular in cosplayers back in the early days was Wendy and Richard Penny doing the ElfQuest stuff. And at one point, Wendy drew a picture, something in an older ElfQuest, something about, a fan, coming up to her ElfQuest characters with, in an autograph line. Girl, fuzzy hair, glasses. And I'm like, that's my doppelganger throughout all of fandom, the generic female fan. Had, but there were actually more girls than that. It's just, my friend Nori and my friend Ellen, a lovely Asian girl, very Nordic blonde girl, and me in the middle is the generic fuzzy brown hair. Squire for a loaded bucket.
And so and then the funny thing is, in the cartoon series, these legs only survived not even 2 episodes. So in the midst of fighting Obi-Wan in a pirate battle, one of the pirates actually shot his leg and blew his leg off.
what a dick.
Exactly. And so at that point in time, he got cybernetic human legs, which the excuse that I heard was nobody could pull this costume off. Everybody wanted to do Darth Maul again, so they blew off his legs and gave him cybernetic human-esque legs that look like they're armored, so people could cosplay him again. And everyone's pseudo-impressed that, okay, he's got the chicken legs and he can actually walk. It's not until I actually start walking backwards...
Me moonwalk!
That when I moonwalk, everyone just loses it because I can move like that.
Okay, so let's see here. Kevin. So that is yours.
That is mine.
So you put us together.
Me and several very talented friends that I lived with for a number of years built this and a bunch of other stuff. It started off with this horrible little Subaru Outback that had like peanut butter jars on it. It looked like a parade float. It was bad. And then when we rolled it out, we got an insanely positive reaction from it. So we kept going.
You kept going. So this is the latest reincarnation?
This is the latest incarnation. This was built as the ultimate road trip car. 1959 Cadillacs are incredibly hard to come by, and while one day I do plan on building either a 59 or like a 60 or 61 conversion, we wanted something that we could make into like the most ultimate nerdmobile and then drive it across the country. And to date, this thing has been to New York, DC, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, Las Vegas.
Wow.
Chicago. It's been to Atlanta. It's been
Dragon Con?
Yeah, we put 80,000 miles on it like in its first 2 years.
So is there anything decked out on the inside, or is it just the same?
There are a ton of switches and controls for everything on top, and Dan Aykroyd's signature. But that's
Where's Dan Aykroyd's signature?
right here.
Oh, it is not on the flight here.
He hopped in.
Nice. Dan Aykroyd actually signed it.
Yeah, he was very nice.
Geeky is okay. Denver has a lot of conventions. I noticed.
We started off with 2. We recently
Your car is awesome.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Does this happen all the time?
Ladies love the Ecto. I don't know. Yeah. It happens. Oh, we've got a whole row. That's what it is. It's a whole row of them. They've all got the AirRam air conditioners.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you wanna play, huh?
Oh yeah.
Play with exterior sounds? We can play with exterior sounds.
Oh god.
Look at this guy's got head dogs too. We got
This is basically
we
what
got donks up here. Oh, okay. Oh man, they're starting crap. This is gonna be good. All right, we are queued up.
Cue it up, dude. Cue it up. Okay, those are your wigs up there?
Yep. So Merida is the orange, bright orange curly one, Black Widow, Ramana from Doctor Who, and Sergeant Calhoun from Wreck-It Ralph, and then I'm working on adding more wefts to my Akita wig, which is from Atlanta. Excellent.
Yes.
I need to make one with brown stuff.
Yeah, just a little bit of poster board, super glue. Based it actually on a template for a deck box that I had from like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and things.
So this is actually your first time making the entire thing?
Yeah, I've been cosplaying for 5 years. This is my 5th year going to NDK as a cosplayer.
Right.
I've purchased costumes with prefabricated costumes in the past, and I've done costumes out of assembled just clothes that I've purchased.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that I have gone ground up making a costume myself. As I'm going to be crossplaying, I will be a female character.
Narrow enough.
So, given the costume constraints and measurements and whatnot, it's just more sensible to assemble something myself. So, when I bought them, I knew they'd be pretty much perfect. I seam ripped this little buckle bit off and added a new, just stitched it back together and dropped it down here so that it sits at the ankle as the character's boots do. Replaced the standard laces with the red ribbon that's going to actually match the ribbon that I use for the lacing for the waist cincher, the corset that I'm making. And now I'm in the process of painting the soles so that they are at least somewhat matching red.
I was gonna say, I think I've only ever watched like the original Power Rangers.
Me too.
I just remember I hated Kimberly.
The pink one?
Yeah.
That's who I always was whenever I played Power Rangers.
I
I was
don't
always
know,
the yellow one.
I was the yellow one
yellow
too,
one.
because I don't know why, I just really didn't like
What was her-
Kimberly.
My brother was always the Red Ranger, and I was always the Yellow Ranger. So, because I always thought the pink one had the skirt, and I thought that was super girly, and I'm not girly at all. So I was Kimberly because she dated Zach, and I thought he was really cute. So.
I'm not yelling at it, I'm whispering at it.
You're whispering. It was a disappointing whisper. It was very disappointing.
Did it work?
Yay!
Yay!
We've been doing cosplay for a while. I mean, last year was the first time I actually made something. I actually went as Madame Red from Black Butler, and I made the skirt for it, and it was more challenging than I had thought, but it was definitely fun to do. Corner so that the trimming on the bottom will make
An angle?
An angle.
A miter? Well, what you can do down does it go on you? Because you might be able to just cut off some of the white.
The I, the M, the M, the Y. Give me that Jimmy hat, the G, the I.
You're getting your hair dyed. This is something you probably do at home, right?
Typically it's been something that I do at home, but this is a little more complicated because I'm going for a dye and highlighting on top of that. So it's not just going to be the single straight color dye that I've done in the past. So I figured if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have it done right, have my friends here take care of that for me.
Let's go check it out.
Alright. And I am doing crossplay.
Okay.
I'm going to be going as a female character.
So one of the benefits of coming to locals is beer?
They have some of our local microbreweries beers on tap. So I've got a Laughing Lab from Bristol Brewery. Left.
Okay.
A little excessive for my first time actually making a costume.
How long does the whole process take?
About an hour and a half for everything.
Really? Okay.
Basically, he told me that he'd never been to a convention, and I was like, well, I need somebody to help me at this one, because I usually have somebody that I wander around with to help me, while I'm helping people or while I'm taking pictures to hold my bags and to pass me what I need so that I can get people back out and doing things faster. And he was like, well, I could do that. And I was like, I'll make you t-shirts. And he's like, okay. So I made him t-shirts, black t-shirts that say Cosplay Bodyguard on them. And
Bodyguard? He's more of like a handler or
he's more
assistant.
of my handler, but he didn't want to be called a bag wench.
Okay. Bodyguard sounds better.
So bodyguard was the term that we decided on. I think I might have missed one. Right,
Ooh, the cosplay cave.
That's what I call it. Kat actually doesn't call it that.
Okay, well I'll call it a cosplay cave.
And then this is the rack of cosplay. And this is the workspace. Literally all we work on is pretty much cosplay.
Cosplay.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Both of my parents are really nerdy.
Ah, so you runs in a family.
So when I was little, we watched things like Star Trek and Doctor Who. And when I was 7, they took me to my first Star Trek convention and I dressed up as Hikari Sulu because he was my favorite. When I was 10, I tried to name my first pet, which was an all-black cat, Spot, because I thought everybody would get the Next Generation reference for Data's cat Spot. My mom said no. He ended up just being named Data. And I've been being really nerdy ever since. I got into anime when I was probably about 13. I think I started kind of watching it. And so I've been, 16 years later, I still love anime.
My sewing space upstairs, and then I do my props on the basement.
Oh, okay.
The basement is a train wreck, but
that's okay. I've seen train wrecks.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
But you know what? It's normal.
Yeah. So this is my space up here. I've got my machine and my cutting table, and I watch anime and listen to music. And then I have that's my bag of stuff that's done.
Uh-huh.
And that's my pile of stuff I'm working on.
Are you always in a process of working on something? Like some far off, like maybe DCC
Kind of.
type?
Allison, my girlfriend, decided that she was going to plan all of her costumes for the next year. So she decided that she was going to finish up everything for NDK 2 weeks beforehand, which she more or less did. I'm really proud of her that she went out of her way to do all that.
Yeah.
I wasn't so lucky with the planning. I planned to get a lot done during the summer.
Didn't happen.
My first con was NDK 2009, and my friend, there's my pincushion. My friend let me borrow a kimono, a very poorly made costume kimono, and I had a Jiraiya headband from when I was into Naruto, and that was my costume more or less for the con. I don't think a lot of my guy friends are as serious or as into it as I kind of end up being. I invited a group of my friends to do Madoka this year with me, Madoka Gender Bends, and my closest friend Cian is the only one who's going to be able to make it to this con, or the only one that's going to be able to make it for this con, and I've helped him with a lot of the costume. And nothing this time. I have the sewing machine and he does it. The unofficial is upstairs. This is the official. That's more or less where I work. So there's kind of everything scattered around right now. My current build's going on. I'm doing the Weiss sword for Ruby for a friend of mine. She commissioned me for that. I built that last night, probably 9 hours or so into that. Now I'm just coating it so I can spray paint it. Working on my Yosuke headphones for Persona 4. And that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I have to do my start guns. I have to make my horns for Chopper. A lot to do still, but it's getting there.
In 1998, we were planning a trip to California and to visit family, and it happened to coincide with the San Diego Comic Con in 1998, where the creator of Sailor Moon was going to be, and I just was like ecstatic, and I said, I want to make a costume so I can go and see her. And I'm pretty sure everybody thought I was completely insane, but so I asked for, help from my mom, who had her old sewing machine, literally old sewing machine from the 70s. You can throw it down a set of stairs, and the only thing you have to worry about is the stairs. that kind of like that. So I did that, and I got help from people who were familiar with it, and I had a little bit of sewing experience from my younger days when I was in 4-H back in Indiana. And so I went about it and tried to follow the pattern and did what I could, and that was the time before wigs, and so I had long hair back then and put it up in pigtails and called it good and had the best time. And we went to the San Diego Comic-Con with my mother. My dad took my sister off to there's like a port or something.
Sure.
Something like that. Anyways, they did something else because my dad and my sister could not give two craps. There are aspects of it that I don't love, but those are not the parts of it that I get involved with. I get a choice, If I don't like it, I don't have to do it. And that seems like a hard concept for some people. They're like, no, cosplay has to be this way. And I was like, it can be that way for you, but for other people, they should do whatever is making them happy. I mean, as long as it's really not truly interfering with someone else's rights. If they want to have their behind out somewhere, don't look at it because that's not interfering with your rights. You just have to, because I know that's become a point of contention. People are like, there's no hard and fast list of what is cosplay. It would be like asking somebody what is music, what is art. Mm-hmm. You can't, those questions are so, darn it, I always get these two words screwed up. I can't remember. Anyways, it's all semantics. I mean, and unfortunately that has created this environment of gatekeeping where and it was really funny because it was like that in anime too, and they're like, if you're not watching the subtitle versions, you're not really watching anime. And it's like, and it took me a long time, honestly, until very recently to realize that whole view is kind of crap, because it ain't any of my damn business what anybody else is enjoying. If they're happy, let them be happy. It's like, some people would criticize those cosplayers who and this happens. It is happening right now. People criticize cosplayers who are supposedly showing too much skin. As long as it's legal, it's fine with me. It's not interfering with anybody's rights. Some people are criticizing those who have a focus on competition because cosplay is supposed to be fun. Competition is enjoyable for them. I had a conversation with somebody over Twitter last night because they were like, these people are all really high stressed. How can they? And some people, that's how they work best.
I don't drink beer. Does anyone want one? Blue Moon.
So you are learning to sew.
I'm just having fun.
No, he's not going to use this.
Yeah,
He's not going to use it
not at all.
except for evil purposes.
Yeah.
Well, I felt left out because everybody was sewing and I was just drinking.
All my friends were like, yeah, there's a convention. I was like, what? And I was 15 years old and I didn't know what to dress up as, and then I kind of made it, put it together. I found stuff from Goodwill and I ripped sleeves off of shirts to be Kyrie from Kingdom Hearts 2 in her schoolgirl outfit. I even had this purse I flipped inside out and looked just like hers, and and I dyed my hair red, and it was not as good as I probably could make it right now. But it was really cool.
Have you met them?
No, this is my first time. This is the first time.
Yeah.
Alright, so do you end this the same way as
You tell everybody to keep going. I
have to sew.
So we all just kind of lined up.
Was it crowded? Was the place
It was
packed?
filled, yeah. And there were people crying during the intermission. We walked into the bathroom and there's this girl, probably about 17, 16 years old, sobbing violently. And her friends were just like, oh, they're there. I'm just like, so you haven't seen that before, have you? She's just like, no, I haven't seen past episode 3. And when Sayaka went crazy, she just lost her. And she just was crying in the bathroom, they're there.